Apart from battling, another aspect of gacha games that is just as much, if not more important, that is the gacha itself. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about my personal pull strategies for units in Opera Omnia. I'm not saying anyone watching this needs to follow my strategy to a T, but I will say this strategy has been working for me for a very long while, and over 90% of the units I chase for or want, I do end up getting. The first thing I always check when planning out my pulls is this website called FFOOTip. It's my favorite site to use besides the Cydia Compendium. What it does is map out chronologically all of the future units that will be coming to the global version according to the Japanese schedule. I can see who's both coming up soon and who will be coming up in the very far future. I will say the global scheduling lately has been very off, and it's likely that we'll be seeing a merge with JP, so the foresight might not be here for much longer. But still, as of right now, this is my go-to site for checking future Opera Omnia units. I have it linked down below in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves. What stuff in a unit do I look for when I plan my pulls? This is gonna trigger some fans when I say this, but I do still take meta into account when making my plans. Do I think it's nearly as important as it was in early Opera Omnia eras? Not at all. However, I am a particularly unusual type of player where I don't have nearly the same personal connection to the Final Fantasy franchise as a lot of other players do. Regardless, I do factor in how much value these units have in the long run. Building units, especially BT units, take a lot of resources. I can only build so many at a time. I don't have much sentiment for most of the Final Fantasy cast. That's why I don't see much of a problem in prioritizing units partly by how good they are in the game. Some meta units that I've pulled for because of how good they were: Astos, Iris, and Kina. My next big influence on who I decide to pull for are aesthetics. That is, how sick is their design? How cool do their alt costumes look? I've pulled before due to how good looking the units are. I've pulled on Sephiroth because of his safer costume being in the game, and I've fully built Terra up to her green because her alt costume was dope, despite the fact that she's mid as hell. If they're a very cool looking unit, doesn't matter if I don't really know them, chances are I will be pulling. For example, Celtius looks freaking sick, and I'm getting him. Do I know who he is? Hell no. Rufus. I know he's in Final Fantasy VII, but that's about it. I don't even know if he's that good in the game, but ha, Sunny! Lastly, the third criteria for my pulls are, how fun are they to play? This is very subjective, as who I think is fun to play might be boring as hell for you. Meta and aesthetic are great and all, but if they're no fun to use, then I'm not going to use them. Astos. He's one of the best units in Opera Omnia, and aesthetically wise, he looks fire. I can count on my two hands the number of times I've used him in total since his debut. I use him when I have no other option, sure, but overall, he's such a boring character to me. On the other hand, Lightning on my account is picked much more often as my DPS. Not just because the reprise basically let me use her for every single fight, but because her incredibly fast breaker playstyle was enjoyable to me. I liked moving multiple times a turn and spamming her incredibly broken EX over and over again. Is she better than Astos? Nope, but she's fun to me. I knew Lightning with her FR rework was going to be amazing, but I mainly pulled and built her because her DPS design was to my liking. Moving on to the next topic. How often do I actually pull and build characters in this game? Well, if we're just talking about the pulling, technically I pull on every banner. Opera Omnia allows you to get on average 3 free multi-draw tickets on most banners, so you always have somewhat of a chance to get weapons for the units. I love how they incorporated that, by the way. Moreover, since I'm a long-time veteran player, I'm at a point where building someone up to their FR isn't that big of a hit on my resources. And since I have most characters' EX and LDs by now, 99% of the time I only need to get their FRs to build. If I do get the FR weapon on a banner, I often do end up building them. Where I'm still conservative on are people that I want BTs of. Pulling bursts and building them will always be a bit of a struggle. Therefore, in this case, I have to pick and choose who I want. For how many BT units I pull on and build up, on the low end, I do about 2 a month. And if I don't have to fucking pity every goddamn burst, I can build up to 4 a month. For the last section, let's talk about my go-to pull formula. For units that I want the BTs for and I don't have enough to token it, this is the one and only instance I will use my gems. If I do have enough to token the BT, I will just use tickets to get up to their FR. If I only need their FR and don't care about the burst, then I also only use tickets. Lastly, God forbid, I do want someone's BT but I neither have the tokens or gems to guarantee it, I first get out my rosary, say Hail Mary, then I use whatever tickets I have left to put my RNG to the true test. I've done that before, and funny enough, I have gotten BTs from YOLO tickets. Yo! Yo! What? Although with Lena, I was actually planning on tokening her BT in the first place. So that is my general strategy for planning and pulling on future units on Opera Omnia. Remember that none of this is gospel, and not even I follow it at times, but more often than not, it's worked pretty well for me. If you want good units to go for this year, I have a separate video talking about that. And if you want team building or call help, I have videos for those as well, all linked down below for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!